Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio Auditore da Firenze action figure set by NECA. Hopefully I pronounced the name correctly there. The set was first available in 2010, and I found this set at Target of all places. Very interesting. I think it was at Target to help promote the release of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood game. But it's not usual to find the NECA products at Target. But I did find it at Target and ended up paying about $12.99 for the set. Taking a look at the Ezio figure here in the packaging, you can see it represents the character from the Assassin's Creed 2 game, sorry. And it's very nice, and this is one of the two versions I believe is part of the Assassin's Creed 2 line. And down here you can see that this figure has 24 points of articulation and contains a retractable blade and a removable blade. And you can also see the sticker here for the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood release. It looks like it was going to be released in November of 2010. Here on the side we have pictures of the Ezio figure and the variant or second release of the figure, the Master Assassin in black there. And we have another picture of Ezio there on the side. Here we have the back of the package, and we have a very short description of Ezio there, and the truth is written in blood. And we have the two figures from the Assassin's Creed 2 subline. Memory 1 of Ezio Auditore da Firenze, right here on top in white. And down below we have Memory 2 of Ezio Master Assassin in black there. Now we'll be right back and have this figure out of the package. Okay, we have here out of the package the Ezio Auditore da Firenze figure. At least that's how I pronounce it. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, so I'm just going to refer to it as Ezio from here on out. And this Ezio figure is actually quite nice. It's got a lot of detail on it, which is typical for NECA. But you can still tell that NECA has tried to take steps to improving the Assassin's Creed figures compared to the previous Altair figure. And even though they've tried to take these steps to improve the figure, you could tell that they did take a couple steps backward as well, and in terms of quality. And maybe it's just my figure, I don't know. But let's go ahead and take a look at the figure as it is. And we're going to go ahead and start out with the accessories. Now, this particular figure does not have as many accessories as the previous Altair figure, and also has less than the one following it. So that's where I see where it's a bit of a step backward. Maybe it's the game, maybe he didn't really have that many accessories, I don't know. I haven't played the second game. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at those accessories, what little they are. And they're the two blades that come out from underneath the wrists and forearm areas of the figure. And one of them is removable and one of them is retractable. The removable blade is on Ezio's right arm, and you can basically just pull that out, get a good grip. And you can see the blade here. Got a basic sculpt on there. It's made of a not too soft a plastic. You can see it's a little bit rigid, but not too rigid. You can bend it a little bit, but it goes springs back into shape there. But that's pretty cool. And you have a notch in here supposedly so you can place it back in the correct position into the wrist area, but I really haven't had an easy time figuring out which is the correct position. I've been able to place the blade in both positions, pointing the notch pointing downward or upward, so I don't know if I'm doing it correctly here. Now the other accessory is the retractable version of the blade on the left arm there. Now I've had a difficult time trying to push it in and pull it out. According to the packaging, it's retractable, but like I said, it's very stiff and very hard to move, and I worry that I may actually snap off the blade if I push or pull on that too tightly. And which is one of the things with NECA figures. They're sort of delicate in a way in that the joints and other things are very stiff, and if you tug or pull or twist a bit too hard, you may snap off a limb or an accessory. And that's the case with this figure, or at least nothing has actually broken. Well, one thing has broken off so far, but most of it hasn't broken off. But I don't want to stress it where it will break off. So this blade is basically staying in place on there. But you can see some of the details in the blade. You can tell it's a separate piece here from the sheath area on the arm. Like I said, it's very stuck on there, so I don't want to move it too much. But those are basically the two accessories that come included with this particular version of the figure. Now, taking a look at the Ezio Auditore da Firenze figure here, or Ezio, and it's very nice, very well sculpted. I like it very much. The details on this is very nice. And just start off with the head sculpt. You can see it's a hooded Ezio figure, and the hood here is a separate piece. It doesn't attach to his garments here, and I think it's really for articulation, posability on there. If it was attached to the torso there, you wouldn't have that much movement, a very restricted movement. But it's still very nice, even though you can see where it separates from the torso when you pose the head. It still poses well on there. It's not a big deal that it is a separate piece. And it's made of a softer, rubbery type plastic. And you can see some of the details of the hood there. Some of the folds in the cloth, you could say, and with the sculpt there. It's very cool. And you can also see some of the stitching on the hood as well, and some wear. Looks like very slight paint wash has been applied to indicate that it's a worn hood on there. And taking a look at the head here, if you could see it, they actually did, even though it's cloaked over with the hood here, you can see that they included paint in the eyes, which is nice. So if you really wanted to look underneath, you can. Most of the time you can't see the eyes. It's shrouded in shadow or under the hood. But they did paint the eyes if you look real closely on there under some light. So you got some painted eyes on there, which is nice. And the face sculpt is pretty interesting. There is a scar on the lower lip. Now, I haven't played the second game yet. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if that's an actual scratch. I'm gonna guess it's a scar, because Altair had a scar, and I believe in the following games there's a scar as well on the upper lip. I can't remember. So I'm gonna guess that on the lower lip is a scar there. Actually looks like two parts of a scar on there, which is okay. It's done rather well, whether that was intentional or not. So looking at the rest of the figure here, you can see the garments that he wears. I guess of the order I don't know what you call it, but it's very nice, very detailed. You can see the collar here, two parts of the collar on either side in white and red, and in the red here, pretty nice. You can see some of that embroidery, I guess you can call it, but it's really it's painted on there. And it's not too defined. It's very small, so but it's still, you can tell that it's embroidery pattern, an embroidery pattern. Excuse me, which is nice. It's very cool. And then you have the leather-like thing over here on the shoulder with straps that are actually sculpted on. These are not loose, but this over the shoulder here is actually a separate piece and is glued on to the figure. As well as this shoulder here is a separate piece, and I believe that's to free up the articulation. But when I was testing the figure out, moving the articulation points, I actually I guess tore it off. I think it was very lightly glued on here, which is not a too big a deal. I can put that back in. You could see a slot area for this shoulder. I may not even glue it in. It sits pretty secure even without glue, but when you do move the arm forward, it does tend to pop out. So I'm still debating whether to glue it in or not. If I were to glue it in, it's probably just a very tiny portion of that shoulder area to allow some movement of the arm if I ever do glue it down. I may not, who knows. But taking a look here, you can see, I don't know if what you would call this, over the shoulder throw and on there. Very nicely done in that it's got two colors, brown on the outside, I guess to simulate a more leather-like appearance. You can even see cracks on there, which is very nice. I really like that. And it does look like leather-like, which is very cool. I really like the texture that they applied on the outside of this. And underneath, it's smooth and painted red on there. So, and it's you can see it's very soft, very cool on there. Looking over here at the belt sash area, very detailed. You can see the sculpted. I guess the calipers, or you could say A for assassin, I don't know. I thought those were calipers, but it's the symbol for the order, I guess, assassins there. And it's very cool, very nicely sculpted, and you can see they painted it silver to represent the metalwork here, and red underneath to represent the cloth on there, and then you got sculpted leather for the straps to go around the belt, which is very nice, very well done. And if you lift the throw here, you can see that there are sculpted pouches on the back and painted leather-like. It's very nice, very cool. And here on the arm, you got again the symbol of the order there, sculpted and painted to be metallic-like on there, which is very cool. And you can see some of the details for the blade mechanism for it to pop out on there, and some more details on that. It's very cool. And this is one of the really nice things about NECAs. They detail in their sculpts for this scale of figure. On the other hand, you got some leather on there for the gloves, which is pretty nice. Now underneath the skirt area of the figure, get it into focus, you can see the leggings just plainly sculpted to represent sort of a very rough cloth or thin leather there. Very interesting. And then you have the overhang of the I guess tunic area, and you can see the painted embroidery pattern again, this time in what looks like a black on there. It's very cool, but it does look, I guess, not less realistic, but not as fine as up here in red, or in gold, I'm sorry. You could tell it's stamped on like a tampo type thing, so it doesn't really look like an embroidery pattern. If they had sculpted a little bit like here on the torso, where it's part of the sculpt, and then applied some ink on there, or a brushing, ink brushing on there, it would have been nicer. But still, that's pretty decent. And moving down here to the boots, very nice. You got the over-the-knee type boots, which is very cool because on the top portion of the boot here, above the knee, it's a softer plastic here, while this is harder plastic. And you can see the details on the buckles, on the straps, on the side of the boots, and the leather-like working on there. Very cool, very nice. And also, you got the bottom of the boot here and the sole there, and hollowed out here, I guess, for peg holes if you have a stand for your figure. Now, going over the articulation, it looks like NECA had tried to improve the articulation over the previous Assassin's Creed figure. They increased the amount of articulation, but what I noticed is that they increased it, yet the range and the quality is not quite there, and that's where I think they really made a step backwards in trying to improve the articulation, but the range of movement of these articulation points are rather limited, and but you could tell that as they progressed throughout the series, it does get better. But going over the articulation of this Ezio figure, the head can go side to side. It can probably go all the way around, but you can see the head running into the collar here, and I don't want to stress any of the weaker material here where it may tear, so I'm gonna guess that it does go all the way around, but I'm not gonna do that with my figure. It does go down and up as well, not too high, but it does go side to side, which is nice for some emotive type of posing there. The arms do go all the way around at the shoulder. Now the left shoulder area is freer of movement, even with the throw on the back here. But because of this shoulder piece here, it does restrict the movement to the point where you can pop that off the figure, which you don't really would want to do. The arms also do go out about that far and in. Now the elbows do bend, but because of the sculpt of the arm here, it does not bend as much as you'd like. That's about as far up it'll bend, and about that far down. But there is also a swivel at the elbow, which is nice because there's no swivel at the bicep area. Now the hands are pretty interesting. It does rotate over here, but because of this blade here, in its position, I can't get it all the way around. I'm sure you can, but the blade impedes that movement, and it does go up and down as well. Now this hand here has more freedom of movement once you have the blade removed, and you can see how it goes all the way around as well as in and out, which is nice. The torso area just has one articulation point, and that's at the waist. There is no ab crunch on there, which is not really needed for this particular figure, because the waist articulation takes care of it. It allows the torso to go all the way around, and for the ab crunch replacement, it does bend downwards, up and back, as well as side to side. So you really have all that circular movement that you really don't need on a hinged ab crunch there. Now the biggest problem I have, at least with this figure on articulation, is the hip area, the leg joint at the hip, and it's a bald hinged joint. Now you can get the leg all the way around on that swivel on the ball area, but the leg and the ball are stuck together. and the hinge actually does move to allow the leg to go up and down, but since it's stuck, the hinge goes along with the leg, so you really have some limits on the posability of the leg. You can try to get the leg out, but you can't twist it forward once it's out because of the stuck joint there, which is really unfortunate. Because to get this guy in some decent poses, you really want to have the leg be able to move around a lot, and but with that stuck hinge, it's quite difficult to do. I could probably pop it loose, but because it's a NECA figure, I may pop off the entire leg, which I don't want to do. The leg at the knees do bend up and down, as well as rotate all the way around at the knee, which is nice. And the feet do bend up and down, but it's very restricted due to the lower portion of the boot area here, so you really can't even get that much movement bending the foot up and down. It does go all the way around, however, and there is no ankle pivot or toe joint there. So very limited on the posability, especially at the legs, for at least this figure. Hopefully other figures are not that way and don't suffer that problem, but that's really the biggest problem I have with this figure. But an otherwise great figure, especially for the amount of detail and the paint and the really the sculpt is just outstanding for this figure. This is my casual peek into the Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio Auditore da Firenze action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.